When it comes to sports, a lot of times the path to greatness is less like an old town road and more like GPS navigation with turn-by-turn directions. That's why it was no surprise to most basketball fans that after Zion Williamson basically windmilled his way to internet superstardom and a #2 overall national ranking according to ESPN, his decision-making thereafter followed a tried-and-true roadmap. First on that list, of course, was taking his talents to a top college basketball program to not only elevate his exposure, but also up his game under the lights of Cameron Indoor Stadium and the tutelage of Coach K. So step 1, check. Arriving at Durham was just the start of the trek, as Zion's next necessary step was to live up to the hype. And after racking up a litany of hoops honors and being instrumental in the Blue Devils' Elite 8 berth in the NCAA tournament, his plan remained in motion. Step 2, check. Doing the most in only a few months on campus, Zion was already hoisting the Wooden and Naismith Awards as college basketball's most outstanding player, while being touted as having the most NBA-ready physique since LeBron James. By now, you already know what was next up on the docket. And on April 15, 2019, just a week after the conclusion of the college basketball season, Zion crossed another item off of his glory grocery list by declaring for the 2019 NBA draft, where he's all but expected to be the top pick. Step 3, check. Like I said before, when you're at the top of the game looking to the top of the mountain, what's a chess move to others is more like playing Connect 4. And coincidentally, that brings us to what is very likely the most uncertain decision Zion has had to make in his young career, deciding on what sneaker brand to sign with on an endorsement deal. Ordinarily, for your standard run-of-the-mill top-tier lottery pick, oftentimes what logo they sign with is largely decided by how many dollar signs are attached to it and their personal familiarity with a particular brand. With Zion, those things are definitely a factor, but are lessened by the fact that, frankly, Zion is a tremendous transcendental talent whose personality is nothing less than a gravitational force. Basically, Zion is Bo Jackson on the basketball court with Shaq's smile. All of which adds up to someone who will most definitely be the face of a brand from day one and years to come, with Sonny Vaccaro, the famed former marketing executive with Nike, ADIDAS, and Reebok, quoted in a piece by ESPN's Nick DePaula as saying, "Zion has made me feel like it's 1984. I'm serious." Referring back to the year Vaccaro famously gunned for Nike to throw the bank at signing Michael Jordan for $500,000 a year, which at the time was the swoosh's entire athlete budget. While you think things have changed since then, the stakes have only gotten higher, as the last time we saw a rookie sneaker free agent of this caliber, LeBron James in 2003, Reebok reportedly offered him a $100 million deal and a $10 million check if LeBron signed with the brand on the spot, with Adidas initially offering 9 digits as well, before infamously lowballing the future legend. And as the story goes, LeBron went on to sign with Nike for a fully guaranteed $87 million contract that's now turned into a lifetime deal. Given the nature of the industry, one would think Nike would be in the driver's seat this time for Zion. But one could also argue that might not be the case due to the infamous incident back in February during the biggest game of the Blue Devils season. Zion's first matchup against the North Carolina Tar Heels, where he sustained a grade 1 right knee sprain in the first minute of play and was sidelined for 6 games, with the injury being largely attributed to his left shoe exploding while performing a routine basketball move. The shoe in question? A Nike PG 2.5 that may or may not have been specially engineered for Zion. So assuming Nike was the frontrunner in the Zion sneaker deal sweepstakes, this unprecedented event could slightly throw a wrench in the swoosh's campaign, serendipitously opening the field at a time with arguably the most actual viable options to choose from. Think about it. Aside from Nike and Jordan, Adidas has always been a major player. Puma's disruptive marketing approach has made a huge splash over the course of its basketball return. New Balance is riding a Kawhi wave that, for what it's worth, has led to sold-out releases. And even in the case of Li Ning, their wallets have opened up with D Wade's timely retirement. It's the perfect time for a lot of brands to throw their hat in the race. So we've ranked each brand that stands a chance at landing Zion, weighing their respective pros and cons, and in turn, giving you some insight and perspective on Zion's big decision. If Kawhi Leonard leaving Jordan Brand wasn't a shocker enough, his greener pastures being New Balance was an electric charge that unexpectedly jolted newbies back into the performance basketball arena, making them the most viable they've been since acquiring Matt Bonner. So with the leanest roster of those in the running, Zion has plenty of space to be a major focal point for the brand. That said, if we're basing it off of the way they announced the Kawhi signing and the marketing around him, it's wishful thinking to believe they'd do it big enough to match just how game-changing Zion would be for them if they could manage magnifying him properly. Because straight up, they just don't have the track record. Where New Balance doesn't have the track record, Under Armour is a big step up in that department, as Steph Curry's signature line already has the Curry 8 in development and a roster that includes Mo Bamba, Dennis Smith Jr., and the biggest sneaker contract ever for a big man in Joel Embiid. If Under Armour is looking for a second signature athlete that doesn't step on Curry's toes, it's Zion. And another thing that Zion has that gels extremely well with the brand is that he looks like this, straddling the fence and pushing Under Armour's basketball fast break, in addition to tapping back into UA's roots being the ultimate weight room brand. And honestly, if they don't do that, they'd be dropping the ball and the weights. However, assuming Zion goes #1 overall in the NBA draft this June and in turn lands in New Orleans, the city's small market, in addition to Under Armour's reach in said city, might not be the right fit to properly amplify Zion's marketability and locally grow UA as a brand. After Reebok whiffed on LeBron James in 2003, a good portion of that $100 million bag was wired into 50 Cent's account for his exploits in the club. Now with funds freed up after a deal with Rihanna, it's possible that budget might be reallocated to Puma's booming basketball brand. Taking that into account, Puma can afford a lot of time and attention spent on Zion, and given their disruptive off-kilter marketing strategy, Zion could draw major attention to the brand and vice versa. So it'd make for an interesting experience seeing what the Formstripe folks cook up for the biggest basketball star born in the digital age. All of that is contingent upon Zion holding top priority should he sign with Puma. And it would absolutely require a signature sneaker, as outfitting Zion and what everyone else is wearing, currently the Clyde Core Disrupt and the Uproar, most certainly would be more like a belly flop instead of the tidal wave it should be. And Puma just isn't big enough in the public eye to maintain the market's attention otherwise. Adidas takes one of the top spots for a number of reasons. First off, Zion has more or less been an Adidas fan since day one, dating back to his days balling in AAU for his hometown South Carolina Supreme team, a squad sponsored by Adidas. His love for the three stripes then extended into his prep playing days, often seen tomahawking in the Harden Volume 1, with some folks within the brand pondering Zion being the one to debut the Harden Volume 2 prior to its release. Then as a member of the Duke Blue Devils, a Nike-sponsored program, Zion was known to where Adidas went away from the hardwood, most notably in the viral Instagram Live video while nursing a knee injury, donning a full Adidas tracksuit. Given the fact that Adidas has been in the running for big rookies in the past, they're most definitely a front runner to land Zion, but just making it rain won't get it done. It's 100% going to take a signature sneaker, especially after giving Donovan Mitchell his own shoe, but with James Harden, Damian Lillard, and even Derrick Rose being signature athletes, in addition to Kristaps Porzingis holding the biggest bag ever given to a European basketball player, their roster may be crowded and their money may be tied up. So unless they can find a clever way to get Zion involved with Yeezy basketball, Adidas' bandwidth and pockets might be a little stretched, as evidenced by letting at least 12 players go, including Joel Embiid, Andrew Wiggins, Harrison Barnes, and Kelly Oubre Jr. Those aware of the brand's involvement in the FBI investigation into illegal payments at the NCAA level might chalk up Adidas hitting the brakes on that situation. But regardless, it's safe to say it plays a part in hindering the three stripes from going full speed ahead at landing Zion. It is what it is. Nike's at the top of the mountain, and if Zion wants to truly summit his sneaker deal peak, it'll have to go through the swoosh. Yes, his shoe exploded, making for the biggest kick story of the year, but letting Nike make up for it with a damn near indestructible signature and marketing it as such would be epic. Yes, Nike has a stable of signature athletes, but with 2/3 of the league wearing Nikes and 4 out of 5 top-selling signature sneakers being either Nikes or Jordans, they have more than enough cash to devote a whole division to Zion. And if those cons prove to thwart Nike's push for Zion, they have an ace in the hole. Don't just sign Zion to Nike, sign him to Nike Inc. By that I mean, give him access to not only Nike signatures, but also Jordans, both new models and retros. And since Converse is also owned by Nike and getting their feet back on the hardwood, let Zion's aura shine over every model Nike Inc. is trying to push by outfitting him in a bevy of PEs spanning the full range of what the brand has to offer. Every brand is going to put money up, that's a given, but this is a power move that only Nike could flex. Zion's next decision on his path to greatness may not be that hard after all. With nicekicks.com, I'm Gabe Ocean, providing you with in-depth analysis on the happenings in the sneaker world. Thanks for watching.